If you're waking up at 3 a.m., your body is not broken. It's protecting you. Most people think this is insomnia. It's not. It's a stress signal that your biology no longer feels stable through the night. After 40, your system becomes less tolerant to internal instability. Blood sugar dips faster. Muscle mass declines. Stress accumulates. And your brain, designed for survival, interprets even small metabolic fluctuations as potential danger. So it pulls the emergency lever. Cortisol rises. Your heart rate subtly increases. Your brain lights up just enough to bring you back to consciousness. Not because it wants to sabotage your sleep, but because it believes you might need to act. This is not random. It is not bad luck. It is not simply aging. It is a survival reflex misfiring in a modern body that has lost some of its metabolic flexibility. And here is the uncomfortable truth. If you keep ignoring this signal, it compounds. Night after night, that 3 a.m. spike quietly interferes with recovery hormones, insulin sensitivity, and cellular repair. What feels like a minor annoyance can become a long-term accelerator of biological aging. Before we talk about what to do, you need to understand why this is happening inside you. Because once you see the mechanism, you stop blaming sleep and start correcting the real trigger. After 40, your body becomes less forgiving. What used to be a small fluctuation in blood sugar now feels like a threat to your nervous system. During the night, when you are not eating and your body must rely on stored energy, your brain constantly monitors stability. If glucose drops too quickly or energy delivery becomes inconsistent, it does not stay calm. It initiates a hormonal response designed to protect you. Cortisol is part of that response. It mobilizes stored fuel, raises blood sugar, and prepares you for action. In your 20s, your system could shift between fuel sources smoothly. Now, reduced muscle mass, mild insulin resistance, and accumulated stress narrow that margin of safety. Your 3 a.m. awakening is often a sign that your body does not fully trust its energy reserves. It is not weakness. It is a biological alarm trying to stabilize you. Once you understand that this is about metabolic flexibility, not just sleep, the conversation changes completely. Waking up at 3 a.m. is not just about losing an hour of sleep. It is about interrupting the most regenerative phase of your night. Deep sleep is when growth hormone rises, when cellular repair accelerates, when your brain clears metabolic waste, and when insulin sensitivity resets for the next day. When cortisol spikes too early, it cuts that process short. Growth hormone drops. Tissue repair slows. The next morning, your body compensates by craving quick energy, often in the form of sugar or caffeine. Over time, this pattern increases abdominal fat storage, worsens metabolic control, and raises baseline anxiety. Each fragmented night sends a subtle signal to your body that it must stay alert instead of restore. And restoration is the foundation of longevity. The longer this pattern continues, the more it quietly compounds biological wear. Understanding this cost creates urgency, because this is no longer about sleep comfort. It is about protecting your long-term vitality. There is a piece most people never consider. Your muscles are not just for strength or appearance. They are your largest metabolic reservoir. They store glucose, stabilize blood sugar, and act as a buffer against nighttime energy crashes. After 40, gradual muscle loss reduces that reservoir. Even if you feel active, subtle declines in lean mass change how your body manages fuel overnight. With less muscle available to release steady energy, your system becomes more sensitive to drops. The brain senses instability sooner and reacts faster. This is why two people can eat the same dinner and have completely different nights. One sleeps through. The other wakes at 3 a.m. The difference is not willpower. It is metabolic capacity. If your muscles are understimulated during the day, your nighttime stability weakens. The solution is not extreme workouts before bed. It is strategic strength signaling earlier in the day to expand your energy reserve. When your metabolic storage increases, your brain feels safer. And when the brain feels safe, it does not need to wake you. Energy is only part of the equation. Your nervous system decides whether the night is safe enough for deep sleep. After years of constant stimulation, deadlines, alerts, and emotional load, many adults over 40 live in a low-grade state of vigilance. It feels normal because it has been present for so long. When you lie down, your body may be still, but your system is not fully shifting into recovery mode. Breathing remains shallow. Heart rate variability stays low. The brain continues scanning for threat. Around 3 a.m., when sleep naturally becomes lighter, that background tension makes it easier for cortisol to surge. This is not about dramatic stress. It is about accumulated microstress that never fully discharges. If your system never receives a clear signal that it is safe, it will choose alertness over restoration. Understanding this changes your strategy. You are not trying to force sleep. You are teaching your nervous system to stand down. Once that shift begins, the night stops feeling like a battlefield and starts becoming a place of repair again. What you eat at night does not just affect digestion. It programs your hormonal environment for the next 6 to 8 hours. After 40, your tolerance for extreme choices narrows. Very low protein, excessive refined carbohydrates, or large alcohol intake can destabilize blood sugar in different ways. If dinner lacks sufficient protein and fiber, glucose can rise quickly and then fall too sharply during the night. That drop may be enough for your brain to interpret instability. If alcohol is present, it can initially sedate you but later trigger rebound alertness as your body works to metabolize it. On the other hand, overly restrictive dinners that eliminate carbohydrates entirely can also backfire in certain individuals, especially those already under chronic stress. The goal is not perfection. It is stability. A balanced evening meal that supports steady energy release reduces the likelihood of a 3 a.m. metabolic alarm. Small adjustments here often create disproportionate results. When your internal fuel supply remains consistent, cortisol has less reason to intervene. Long before cortisol rises, your breathing pattern has already influenced the outcome. Many adults over 40 unconsciously breathe in a shallow upper chest pattern throughout the day. That subtle habit keeps the nervous system slightly elevated, even in moments that appear calm. When you lie down at night, this pattern often continues. Short, rapid breaths reduce carbon dioxide tolerance and signal mild physiological stress to the brain. During lighter sleep cycles, that background signal lowers the threshold for a cortisol response. Your body interprets instability where there may be none. Deep, slow diaphragmatic breathing before bed is not a relaxation trick. It is a biochemical reset. It increases vagal tone, stabilizes heart rhythm, and communicates safety. Over time, it retrains your system to tolerate normal nighttime fluctuations without triggering alarm. If your breath stays shallow, your biology stays alert. When your breathing slows and deepens consistently, the brain receives a clear message. There is no threat here. It is safe to repair. Your brain does not rely on clocks. It relies on light. After 40, circadian rhythms become more sensitive to disruption. Evening exposure to bright artificial light, especially overhead lighting and screens held close to the face, delays melatonin release and shifts your internal timing. When melatonin rises too late, the architecture of your sleep changes. The first half of the night becomes lighter and less restorative. By the time 3 a.m. arrives, your system may already be closer to a semi-alert state. In that fragile window, even a small metabolic fluctuation can trigger cortisol. It is not about obsessing over blue light filters. It is about signaling closure to the day. Dimmer lighting, indirect lamps, and reduced visual stimulation in the final hour before bed tell your brain that the environment is transitioning. Circadian alignment creates hormonal harmony. When melatonin rises at the right time, cortisol is less likely to rise at the wrong time. Stability at night begins with clarity in the signals you send before you sleep. Sleep depends on a precise drop in core body temperature. As you approach deep sleep, your body naturally cools to allow restorative processes to unfold. After 40, this thermoregulation becomes less efficient, especially in individuals under chronic stress or with hormonal imbalance. If your bedroom is too warm, if heavy meals elevate internal heat, or if alcohol disrupts normal temperature regulation, your body may struggle to maintain that cooling phase. Around 3 a.m., when sleep becomes lighter, even a slight rise in core temperature can nudge your system toward wakefulness. This is not random discomfort. It is physiology responding to thermal instability. Lowering room temperature slightly, avoiding overheating, and allowing your body to cool gradually before bed can strengthen deep sleep continuity. When thermal rhythms are respected, cortisol has one less trigger. Stability is not only metabolic and neurological. It is also thermal. There is a difference between thinking about problems and carrying them physiologically. Many adults over 40 enter the night with unresolved mental loops. Conversations replay. Responsibilities linger. Decisions remain open. Even if you are not consciously anxious, your brain may still be processing unfinished emotional data. During the first half of the night, sleep suppresses much of that activity. But as sleep naturally lightens toward early morning, unresolved stress can resurface in subtle ways. Cortisol becomes the bridge between emotional tension and physical alertness. This is not weakness. It is your brain trying to organize and protect. When emotional closure is missing, nighttime stability becomes fragile. A simple pre-sleep decompression ritual, such as writing down unresolved tasks or mentally closing the day with intention, reduces cognitive carryover. When the mind feels complete, the body relaxes more fully. Emotional clarity reduces hormonal disruption. Movement is essential for longevity, but intensity without recovery can destabilize your nights. After 40, the stress response becomes more reactive and slower to reset. High-intensity workouts late in the day, combined with insufficient recovery, can keep cortisol elevated longer than you realize. You may feel accomplished after pushing hard in the evening. But if your nervous system remains activated, your body may struggle to transition fully into repair mode. When 3 a.m. arrives, that unfinished stress response can resurface as early awakening. This does not mean you should stop training. It means you must respect timing and volume. Strength training earlier in the day supports metabolic stability. Gentle movement or mobility work in the evening promotes recovery without triggering alertness. Training should build resilience, not amplify nighttime vigilance. When your stress and recovery cycles are balanced, cortisol follows a healthier rhythm. Hydration is rarely blamed for 3 a.m. awakenings, yet it plays a quiet role in nighttime stability. As we age, thirst perception becomes less reliable. Many adults over 40 operate in a mildly dehydrated state without realizing it. During the night, inadequate hydration can concentrate stress hormones and increase heart rate variability disruption. If blood volume drops slightly, the body compensates by tightening vascular tone, which can subtly stimulate alertness. The brain interprets these internal shifts as a need to recalibrate. At the same time, excessive fluid intake too close to bedtime can trigger nocturnal awakenings for other reasons. The key is balance. Steady hydration throughout the day, tapering gently in the evening, allows your system to remain stable without creating new disruptions. Your biology prefers equilibrium. When hydration is consistent and strategic, your body has fewer internal reasons to activate cortisol while you sleep. Your gut does not shut down when you sleep. It continues to communicate with your brain through immune signals, neurotransmitters, and metabolic cues. After 40, changes in gut diversity and low-grade inflammation can increase internal sensitivity to stress. If digestion is heavy, irregular, or inflammatory, your body may remain slightly activated deep into the night. The gut sends distress signals through neural pathways that influence cortisol regulation. When sleep lightens around 3 a.m., this background inflammatory noise can tip the balance toward wakefulness. This is not about extreme diets or rigid restrictions. It is about reducing chronic digestive burden. Simpler evening meals, adequate fiber earlier in the day, and minimizing inflammatory triggers support calmer nighttime signaling. When the gut environment is stable, the brain receives fewer stress messages. A quieter gut often translates into a quieter night. At some point after 40, the strategy must evolve. You cannot approach sleep the same way you did at 25. Your biology has changed, and resisting that reality creates friction. The people who restore deep sleep do not chase hacks. They adopt a new identity. Instead of asking how to knock themselves out at night, they ask how to stabilize their system during the day. They see sleep as a reflection of metabolic health, emotional regulation, muscle integrity, and circadian alignment. This shift removes desperation and replaces it with responsibility. When you stop fighting your body and start supporting its signals, the dynamic changes. You no longer blame age. You build resilience. Your 3 a.m. wake-up is not an enemy. It is feedback. Once you treat it as information rather than failure, your entire approach transforms. Short-term effort with clear structure often creates the breakthrough that random attempts never achieve. A focused 7-day reset gives your body consistent signals it can trust. This is not a crash program. It is controlled recalibration. For 7 days, you align dinner timing, stabilize protein intake, reduce late stimulation, shift training earlier, dim lights consistently, practice slow breathing before bed, and protect your sleep window. The power is not in any single action. It is in repetition without interruption. Your nervous system learns through patterns. When it receives the same safety cues night after night, it lowers its guard. Cortisol rhythms begin to normalize. Early awakenings lose intensity. Consistency builds confidence in your biology. When your body senses predictability, it stops preparing for emergency response at 3 a.m. Stability becomes the new baseline. This was never about forcing sleep. It was about restoring trust between you and your body. After 40, the margin for instability narrows, but your capacity for adaptation remains powerful. When you stabilize energy, calm your nervous system, align light and temperature, support digestion, and build muscle resilience, cortisol no longer needs to intervene at 3 a.m. Your nights become quieter not because you demanded silence, but because you removed the reasons for alarm. Deep sleep returns as a byproduct of stability. Recovery improves. Morning energy feels earned rather than forced. You are not trying to become younger. You are becoming more aligned. And alignment is what protects longevity. Commit to the process. Observe your signals. Adjust with intention. When your biology feels safe, it does what it was designed to do. It restores you.